Hello, Simon Jackson here, Vegetable Field Technical Manager for Syngenta. Today we're in the Netherlands, about 30 kilometres away from Rotterdam, in a beautiful Brussels sprout crop. We're here today with our Global Applications Team to look at the most effective way of applying Amstar Top and Hallmark. The focus really is around optimising product efficacy, sprayer efficiency and minimising environmental impact. We're going to look at different nozzle types, so a selection of new nozzle types. We're going to look at a range of water volumes, and we're also going to look at the impact of forward speed. The challenge with the Brussels sprout crop is it's a variable target. It's quite a complex plant, it's tall, it's got a lot of leaf, the canopy is very closed at the top. This makes it really difficult to focus products to, especially further down in the bottom of the canopy. Getting good coverage on the top is fairly simple, but when we think about pests and diseases down on the bottom leaves and the bottom buttons, we've got a real challenge to get product down to that part of the plant. We're going to spray the crop with a dye, and this dye can be seen under UV light. Then we can sample the crop and take the leaves and the buttons away to the laboratory and identify the deposition on these parts of the plant. It would make sense that we find that increasing water volume leads to increased coverage on the crop, but it'll be interesting to find out how the water volume affects the coverage in different parts of the plant. It's now November the 3rd. I'm here with James Thomas and the results are in. So what do you think, James? What trends have we got?
Well, I think it's quite interesting that for all treatments you can see that the deposits of product are very low, and that's because of the waxy nature of the Brussels sprout crop, the Brassica crop. But there is a clear trend that the addition of an adjuvant increases that product deposition.
The bit that's of most interest to a Brussels sprout grower is the buttons. That's the bit that's selling. So we need to get good control of disease and pest on the buttons. How do you think looking at the treatments, how have we best achieved that?
Essentially, increasing our water volume has improved the deposits. You can see that 500 litres a hectare is improving that deposition. And if you look at this, we applied all the same water volume, so 300 litres a hectare, and we massively improved our deposition by adding an adjuvant, and that's because of the wetting effect. Essentially, it breaks the surface tension of the droplet, hits the leaf and spreads out and improves the product retention. So there is a clear benefit of using an adjuvant technology. There is a slight improvement with the use of air assistance, but it's not significant, and actually you can achieve good levels of deposition and coverage without spending the money on air assistance. So I'd look personally at purchasing nozzle technology.
Where we're using contact products and it's about actually getting product onto the pest with insecticides, that could be a real clear benefit.
Absolutely. So for products like Hallmark, for example, where we're looking for contact activity, using an adjuvant with it will certainly increase the product performance.
One of the questions I get asked by growers is when they increase water volume, obviously it has an effect on the spray quality, you end up with larger droplets potentially. How does that affect our results? Essentially
at 300 litres a hectare, coarse droplets actually resulted in higher tracer deposits on the top leaves, and you can see that from the graph. And there's actually an indication that medium spray quality, so the finer droplets typically produced by a flat fan nozzle, actually resulted in lower deposits on the bottom leaves. And that's because they have less momentum and they're less able to penetrate through the thick canopy. They're also negative from a drift potential as well. So coarser droplets actually can give good product deposition.
How does water volume influence coverage?
Typically, by increasing water volume, you can improve coverage, but very interestingly, from the results you see on the graph here, actually reducing water volume has improved coverage. And that's because we're getting better retention from these lower water volumes. Using lower water volumes with Brassica crops can actually improve coverage. Okay, so what would be your recommendations? My recommendations would be to use the Leckler ID 12005 nozzle at 300 litres a hectare water volume, and use an oil-based adjuvant essentially, and that will give really good drift reduction and also provide adequate deposition and coverage to get the most out of your product. That would be a good kind of compromise or a good fit for both fungicide and insecticide products right through the canopy of the plant. Absolutely, yes. Okay.
So I guess to take it from here, we'll be looking to do some work in growers' fields, commercial work. But for more information about our application work, visit www.syngenta.co.uk.